Well, that was highly disappointing. Welcome back. Still Friday, May 19th, 2023, 1:44 p.m. And, I went up to that door expecting it to open it, and it was locked. And kind of tugging on it, and I'm looking at the building, and it shows the hours being, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. We're in the middle of it. It doesn't even show a break for lunch or nothing. So I'm like, well, why isn't this open? This is weird. Am I doing the door wrong? And a guy comes up to me wearing his face diaper muzzle, looking like a complete goofbag, because of course he's got a big old beard, so that paper mask isn't protecting him from anything with all that hair pushing out from it. But that was one of those moments that I really, really wish I'd bought a pair of those glasses type video recorders, because I'm sure I wouldn't have had the conversation I just had with him if I was holding my phone like this. But God, I wish I would have recorded it, because after having such an amazing conversation with Scott and everybody else that I talked to inside the state capitol building and art and museum, after having that just amazing conversation with Scott and just amazing time inside that building, that guy, that was a very dystopian experience. And he gives me a piece of paper. He says, you need a reservation. It has to be a day in advance, appointment only, blah, blah, blah. I was trying not to completely tune out the stuff he was saying, as I was dumbfounded. And I'm like, wow. I said, I used to just come here all the time just to pour over the books and stuff. He looked at me like he just thought I was lying, I guess, which I'm not. I did. I used to spend just hours and hours just reading case law and digging into more case law that referenced case law and just the history of Arizona through published decisions and archived law books. And some of the stuff going all the way back to state territorial days. And anytime I found something that was particularly intriguing, like the staff there used to make photocopies of it for me. And I remember one time I went in there, and they've got a genealogy department, and they managed to find me actual copies from the census of my father's parents, so my grandparents, where they filled out the census listing their two children, my dad and my aunt, and their ages, and they were children. And they found so much neat stuff there, and I just would lose myself in just reading and learning and just the whole experience of being in that historic building. Well, now they're in a not historic building, but I love the architecture. I'm digging the building, looking forward to just losing myself in it like I always used to. And the dystopian situation that I was greeted with was just like, oh, you got to do all this crap and get an appointment and blah, 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 blah. And I'll read it here. The Polly Rosenbaum Archives and History Building, which houses the State Archives of the State of Arizona Research Library, is currently open to researchers via appointment only. Researchers. You must be a researcher. That used to be a state resource that was available to all interested parties. Didn't even have to be a citizen of the state of Arizona, which I am. Just anyone who wanted to go in and learn. But now it says researchers. Research. Are you a researcher? No, I'm just a citizen who's interested in history, that's all, and interested in law. Researchers wanting assistance with or access to materials can submit your research request, question, or appointment request through our website. And it's got the URL to it. Click on the Ask a Question button at the bottom of our homepage, and a staff member will contact you about your request. If you don't have access to a computer, please call 602-926-3722 820 for assistance. Ask a question is monitored Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 p.m. And that's got the same crap in Spanish. And yeah, the guy, what really got me is just he looked so ridiculous in that mask. You know, I mean, it used to be the old library staff. Sometimes I'd just go in there and I would just kind of do my own thing. But sometimes I'd go in there and just the librarians would just be like, "Hey, Dan, how's it going?" And they would just greet me with a smile. And sometimes they'd ask me like what I was looking at. What are you looking up today? And then they had some computers with internet on it. And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I was just using that, you know, for internet access because I was homeless, checking my email, working on legal documents that I was working on, which I stored. I used to use. I had a GeoCities webpage, and back in the day, it seemed like everybody had a GeoCities webpage. And I would use it as a form of cloud storage before cloud storage was really a thing, to store all my legal documents I was working on. And wow, there's the old DES building. That's kind of neat. That's a new DES building that I kind of walked underneath. And then there's the old one. Oh man, the edge of that building, just that not being painted and the paint cracking off. Not a good look. Not a good look. Anyway, walking down Madison, headed eastbound. Wow, just saying those words, walking down Madison, and I'm hearing that song, and I forget the artist, but walking down Madison, swear I never heard a gun. No one ever shot no one, wouldn't do it just for fun. Who the hell sings that song? Dang, that is going to be stuck in my head for the next day. Anyway, ADOT Administration Building. Good to know where that's at. You know, it's kind of funny seeing these Finn scooters kind of shoved where they're shoved. Apparently this is part of their coverage area now. I'm enjoying the walk. I'm enjoying the weather. It's beautiful out today. I think I'll go this way. Let y'all see this part of Phoenix. Arizona Department of Transportation Administration. Anyway, so the experience over there was pretty just, and he's just like, oh yeah, I said, I used to just go in all the time. And he's like, well, it's been this way since, it's this way now because of COVID. There's 3 words I don't ever want to hear again. It's, quote, because of, quote, COVID. It's not because of COVID. It's because you don't want the citizens of Arizona, well, not you, him. He's an employee. Not taking my anger out on that guy. Although the face diaper was kind of disturbing. But yeah, I don't. Nah, this is just the way that the state has found to make this resource not freely available to the citizens of Arizona. That's what this is. So this is interesting. Jackson Street is no longer. I am at what used to be, and I remember driving in all directions through this intersection, what used to be the intersection of Jackson and 17th Avenue. And now it looks like that building's getting some renovation. It looks like it needs it. And you can see where Jackson Street used to be, but you can see where it got cut off, but it used to continue that way. Don't know what that building is. And apparently that's been pedestrianized going that way for quite some time. I do remember Jackson Street going through here though. Anyway, it's been a while since I featured this bit of 17th Avenue in my vlog, but I find this one interesting because this is the only street that goes underneath in this general area that goes underneath the train tracks. So when the train is stopped like that, you can just keep on driving. You're not stuck. And the reason it's like this, and you can tell it's a pretty old school looking underpass. It looks like we got some people living in it on the left side. So hopefully I don't bother them and they won't bother me. Hopefully. It sounds like they're playing music. Hopefully I don't get a copyright strike. Some kind of an emblem right there I've never really noticed before. Phoenix, 1935. That's gorgeous. Actually, the music is the person under the bridge singing. Wow, that kind of gave me goosebumps. Frank William Fittner, member ASCE Associate Construction Engineer, USBPRR, to whose memory this project, the last in which he engaged in, is respectfully dedicated. 1893 to 1935. Well, it's a shame how that guy's monument isn't being taken care of better. And how the light fixtures here aren't being taken care of better. Because this was a pretty grand piece of infrastructure when it was built. And when it was built, kind of smells like piss in here. When it was built, this was U.S. Route 85. So, yeah, Route 66 gets all the love, but it wasn't the only U.S. highway before the interstates. And this is part of the old U.S. 85 infrastructure. It's still here in Phoenix. Oh, I hope she starts singing again. That woman has the voice of an angel. Oh my God, the smell of piss right here is overwhelming. I can barely hear her, and she's bringing tears to my eyes. Holy shit. The acoustics in these structures are amazing. I'd probably be singing myself if she wasn't singing. This is really beautiful under here. Smell not so nice. But since this is kind of a forgotten highway, it doesn't have all that traffic that is just so loud and annoying in most places of Phoenix. I wonder if she's playing like music on a speaker and singing with it. It's hard to tell. It sounds really ethereal from here, though. All the layers. I should move on. That was a really heavenly sound. At least it was for me. Of course, I could just be having another episode, so glad you all along for the ride. I don't think I'm going to make an appointment to go to the State Archives Library. I mean, it's tempting. I'm going to keep this piece of paper that he gave me. But yeah, I don't, it's probably the least important thing I could waste my time on right now. I mean, going in there to research what I need to research about my current assault case, that's definitely important. But yeah, I'm not going to jump through the hoops they're wanting me to jump through and dedicate a whole separate day. I don't think that guy understands how far I walked to get to that building. I rode a train. I walked past 2 bus routes. I walked across walked on part of the Hobo Trail Network. 17th Avenue in Buchanan. Walking along the old Route 85, US 85. So I'm not really wanting to be on this side of the tracks. But I don't want to walk back under that underpass again. Part of me kind of walks on the other side of it, but I'm not trying to create poverty porn here and put whatever shelter that woman with the heavenly voice has underneath that overpass. Not today. On that note, I don't think I've got any text today from Natalie. I hope she's okay. So the police told her that she needs to move her little blanket and shopping cart for it. There's not much left that'll clue you into the fact that this used to be a U.S. highway route. And this structure looks fairly burned out, which is sad, but at least it's getting renovated. But it sure doesn't look like there's much original, although it looks like they're trying to renovate it as original. But this is one of the old motels, I should say, motor hotels. Just like Route 66 used to have loads of them. Route 85 used to have loads of them too. Yeah, it looks like they're doing a good job of renovating them. Boy, these buildings are gutted. Couldn't really tell you any more about this history beyond, that it used to be one of the Route 85 motels. Firefighter Timothy J. Hale, last alarm, February 12th, 1994. I'm gonna walk down this street. That traffic light is Grant. Grant is one of those roads that only really exists as a thoroughfare in this part of town. It's not really part of the grid system. And 17th Avenue gets wider when you get out from under that underpass. But as you see, it doesn't really have any traffic on it. Wow, that's something you don't see very often. That's one of the old 1960s, 1970s, early 1980s style Phoenix street light pole, traffic light poles, and street signs still intact. The old street sign hasn't been replaced with one of the new modern LED light up ones. It's still got the kind of street signs that I remember from my youth in the original location. On the pole on the right, above the lights, 17th Ave. The old poles with the thin pole going out with the 2 bars holding the weight, suspension style. It looks a little bent up, it looks a little tired, but it's still there. Wow. The only thing that really looks different from how that probably looked in, say, 1975 is that it's been painted green. I don't remember what year they painted all the traffic light poles green, but they used to be yellow. I'm sure if I get close enough to it, and this one's old enough that it was yellow, even though this is like a 1990s style with the thicker beam and the little hardware kind of thing in the middle. But yeah, you can kind of see right there where the green paint is scratched off, and you can see the yellow. I can kind of see it at the top pretty clearly too. Don't know anything about this building. You can tell it's pretty old. Looks like it used to be some kind of retail at one point in time. Actually has an awning where I can walk on a sidewalk with some shade. Wish the city had more of this. So I don't feel like walking down Grant. It's not what I expected, that little. It's the only, well, there's a couple of the old hotels still on the old Route 85. Lincoln Street. It's the first street I can remember living on as a very, very young child. Probably a year and a half, maybe 2 years old-ish when my folks moved from California to Phoenix. And we lived on Lincoln Street. Not this stretch of Lincoln Street, but Lincoln Street on the other side of 27th Avenue. Pretty big empty lot here somebody's sitting on. Kind of wild how quickly we went from pretty shiny state buildings to desolation and garbage. A lot of that in Phoenix. And I guess most cities have that as well. So, gosh, just trying to think of different things I've shot video and talked about over the last week. I've definitely been oversharing this last week, which is fine. Whatever, it's therapeutic. Cell site over there. I forget what day I went to Chase Bank, but I know I shot a video going into Chase Bank. I did not shoot a video leaving Chase Bank, but I left in a Waymo, and that was the first Waymo that I took to Rob's shop. Oh, and I noticed in my inbox, Waymo has contacted me about that. I don't think it's an automated contact. I think it was an actual handwritten email, so I should really check that out and respond to it. I don't know that I've ever really gone through here before. 16th Avenue in Lincoln. It almost looks like 16th Avenue at one time maybe sort of went through, although I don't ever remember it going through or crossing the tracks. It looks like just the grid street system exists for it to be there. It looks like it's probably always ended right there. And with there being train cars in place there, I don't dare try to cross that way. I'm not climbing through any train cars. That's way more adventure than I'm up for today. This is really neat. Now there's a spur route that looks like it's actually being used. On the other side of the road, 1540 West Lincoln. Not the most decorative way to put your address on your property, but it's effective. I wonder if those are actually residential buildings. They might be. Oh yeah. Yeah, those shacks look like they're actually people's residences. Morning. before air conditioning, everybody had them swamp cooler boxes on their houses. I haven't had one in a long time. Yeah, I was actually thinking about walking through on wow, there's a train going through there. It's starting to get kind of warm out. It was really, really comfortable earlier, but it feels pretty hot now. Oh shoot, I was starting to talk about, is that a forklift? That is a forklift. Nice. Never operated nothing like that. It looks fun. Also looks questionably legal to be going down a city street. I'm coming up on 15th Avenue. So now I got to make a decision. Do I go north on 15th Avenue or do I keep walking on Lincoln? I kind of wanted to walk through the zone. Now I'm kind of wanting to get someplace where I can get some food in me. I just realized I haven't eaten since that little thing of oatmeal. So it was a pretty good sized thing of oatmeal, but still that was quite some time. City of Phoenix hearings, zoning adjustments. Hearing date, February 23rd, 2023, 1:30 p.m. Of course the meeting's going to be held virtually because that's what we do these days. You don't have the technology to attend it, you can't attend it. You can't just go to that meeting. Use permit to allow an 80-foot tall building. Doesn't really give any information as to what kind of building it would be. So yeah, that train has got 15th Avenue stopped. It looks like it's getting, no. I was gonna say it looked like it was getting ready to open, but it really doesn't. And now this person is getting ready to turn right and get stuck at those train tracks. And if he knew the city as well as I did, he would just go straight and then go north on, he would go straight and go north on 17th Avenue and go underneath the tracks. But his GPS told him to turn right and sit there, and that train ain't gonna be moving for a while. That is a slow-moving train that is very likely to stop. It could be a long while until those tracks go up. What did I say? Very likely to stop. Called it. I don't know everything. I can't predict the future. I just pay attention and observe. And I'm observing 3 people just sitting, that could have gone down the road I just walked over to 17th Avenue and right underneath them tracks. The fact that I know things like this is what makes me a good cab driver. Maybe that's what I should try to take care of today. Maybe I should try to go to the DMV and get my dang MVR just to see where I'm sitting for potential driving jobs. Actually, that would be a really good use of my time right now that I think about it. I actually got a sidewalk for a little bit, and that's nice. I love when so many letters fade off of something you just can't even really make out what it says. So I was going to, I was getting ready to talk about what happened at Chase. That was pretty bad, and I can't believe with all the videos that I shot on Wednesday that I somehow completely glossed over that. Right, and those big-ass forklifts. And I'm running out of sidewalks, so I gotta walk in the street. Yeah, my head was not in a good place Wednesday. I feel like overall my head's in a pretty good place now. I mean, the State Archives Library new building, and that was a pretty hefty disappointment. But let's be real, most everything I need to know about what's going on with my court case, I can actually look up online on my smartphone if I can just find a comfortable place to sit down out of the heat and the sun. Oh, it just sure got a lot hotter. And of course it's because the cloud cover is disappearing and now I got the sun down on me. So yeah, Chase Bank. That was a really good experience and a really frustrating experience simultaneously. I definitely shot a video when I walked over from gosh, where did I go before I went there? I remember walking across, and there's a Lime scooter. Nice. Wow, and that's a hell of a nice table just sort of sitting there for the taking. Not like I need it, but hey, anybody need a table? It looks like it's free and available. Help yourself. It's in the corner of 13th Avenue and Lincoln. And there's a random foundation of a building that's just there. That foundation kind of reminds me of that scene where Michael Douglas is walking through gangland and falling down. He beats the shit out of those two gangsters with his briefcase. Such a great movie. Oh, look at that. This guy has turned an old forklift into a pole for his mailbox. All right, that's just freaking awesome. That's art in my world. Nice. Oh, damn, it is hot out here. So yeah, Chase Bank. Gosh, I wish I could remember where I was coming from. Trying so hard to remember where I was coming. I remember walking. Wow, big pallet yard coming up here. Wonder if this is where my pallets go. Probably not. By my pallets, I mean the ones that I load at GYR3. Not my pallets, but I was awfully possessive of them. Wow, it's wild seeing them stacked that tall. Amazon doesn't allow them to be stacked any taller than 10. At least they're not supposed to be taller than 10 pallets inside a building. And then they're stacked 20 pallets tall to go in the truck. So of course, no taller than the height of that truck. There, like that. Wow. Maybe this is where my pallets go, because that totally looks like the way I load the kind of trucks I load for pallets, right down to the giant wooden box, which is used for scrap wood. This is, not gonna lie, this is the kind of business I would thoroughly enjoy owning. I don't know if I'd want to be an employee at a place like this. Gutierrez Pallets, we buy, sell, and repair on Lincoln Street. I think my grandpa's pallet yard was on Lincoln Street too. Go figure. But 2700 West Block. That was cool. Wow. I'm loving even more than the fact that there's all these pallets piled so high, is that you can tell at one point in time that this was, before it is what it is now, this was once a residential neighborhood, and the residential house is still there, not looking so great, but serving a purpose. And don't let the details get lost on you. That house has full solar conversion going on top. That's just awesome. That's the kind of shit I think is just awesome. So, Chase Bank. I remember walking across the parking lot. I can't for the life of me remember where I was walking from. I don't remember going into Fry's. I guess I need to not get lost and fixate on that, because it genuinely doesn't matter. I very distinctly remember, though, having a short video where I title it something about how now I'm forgetting the name of the shopping center that I live right next to. Arcadia Crossing. The voice in the back of my head goes, Thomas Mall! Arcadia Crossing. Arcadia Crossing. I always find it interesting how the zone never extended to here. Like all the homelessness in the tents, Phoenix never let it happen here. There's nothing to make this area really any different. than what's at the zone. Just for some reason, the city of Phoenix just decided to allow that to fester and even put in those chains along the side of the road to make it more clear where you're supposed to put your tents. I really want to go over there and film it, but I'm getting hot and I just don't. Sorry if I'm letting everybody down, but I'm just not feeling like walking through there. I'm going down Lincoln. I don't know that I've ever walked down the stretch of Lincoln. No parking. Inns here. Obviously, the people that are parked here don't give a damn about that faded no parking sign. I'd love to own a piece of property like this. I don't know what the hell I'd do with it. Whatever I want to do. Gosh. Recycling. What would I do with it? Recycling. Quit paying rent down at used store. Maybe finally go through all that junk and start selling it. Flip other junk. Live in one of these little old shacks from when this used to be a residential neighborhood and just stay to myself and be happy. And maybe, just maybe, if I'm lucky, find a woman who wants to share that space with me. Naked. All right. Now we're coming into a spot that I'm super familiar with. I'm about to cross 9th Avenue. And that building on the left was a West Tech Recyclers building. I wonder if it still is. Oh man, I'm sweating big time. Yeah. Oh man, it's not the same weather it was a couple hours ago. Ninth Avenue in Lincoln. I can't seem to stay focused enough to say I'm still seeing tents up ahead to the north, but I know it's going to take a while for them to completely clear out the zone. And I don't see how they're going to completely clear it out. I mean, a lot of those people want nothing to do with receiving services. They just want someplace they can camp for free and just be left the fuck alone and do what they do and get fed. Hey, I need to tighten up my food budget. Maybe I should have dinner tonight at the Andre house. Nah, I don't think so. Doesn't look like West Tech Recyclers is still in this building on the left. But yeah, I don't think I was vlogging at the time, but I distinctly remember parking like right around here and going into this building and buying random electronics. God, I love West Tech Recyclers. I need to do more videos about West Tech Recyclers. I just know how I spend a ridiculous amount of money on crap I don't need when I go there because it's all steel. But yeah, I don't see any signs of West Tech Recyclers still being here. Looks like that particular piece of the building's being gutted out. It's kind of interesting to see an industrial part of downtown Phoenix that is staying industrial though. Because it was industrial on the other side of 7th Avenue over there, and it's not anymore. It's new luxury apartments, now leasing. Go to altawd.com and see how much those apartments rent for, so you can live in this part of the hood, but not realize you live in that part of the hood because you drive into a secure parking garage and you walk through a secure hall into your luxury apartment, your luxury urban apartment. Meanwhile, there's all kinds of industrial recycling going across the street and homeless encampments just down the way. Man, it's getting hot out here. I need to get hydrated. I can tell I really need to get hydrated. I don't know if I've got the focus I need. You know what would actually be a really good place to get hydrated right now, come to think of it, is now is probably a great time to go to Taco Bell Cantina. Hell yeah. wonder if I can actually get through this way. This is still 7th Avenue, even though traffic on 7th Avenue is going up and over that overpass. Looking at the engineering on the bridge, I would say that's probably late 60s, early 70s, maybe even early 60s that was built. I have no idea what 7th Avenue was like before that. It's before my time. But I always found these little access roads underneath the overpass to be interesting. City of Phoenix owns that building. City of Phoenix Housing Department. Distribution Center, shipping and receiving hours. 701 West Buchanan. Looks like I'm still recording. I'm never going to find the time to watch everything I've recorded in this week, but I'm glad I'm getting it documented. And I feel it's stopping me from falling apart, because with all the stuff that's happened in the last couple of weeks. I mean, it was in a criminal courtroom today, and I was told that misdemeanor is the highest criminal misdemeanor. So I'm just a step down from felony, basically, for defending myself against somebody who threatened to assault me with a threatened to assault me with a what do you call it, a pepper spray. Now that's neat. City of Phoenix Department, property no trespassing. There's actually a cage there underneath the bridge, used for storage of something. Oh, used for vehicle storage. That's really neat. It's an interesting use of the space. Now, one random, it's like dumpster recycling. There's on a scrap iron and metal company here, and then luxury apartments on the other side. Interesting. 30-minute limit, commercial loading only, no parking ends. But I guess you can park a dumpster here, as long as you got a forklift to park it with. Although that one's upside down, the place where the forks go in. Oh, nice vet. Trying to keep the focus, say what happened at, wow, I love that little warehouse building. You know, I really fucked up. I should have bought one of these, like, little pieces of warehouse properties back in the 90s when I had the cash flow to potentially maybe do it. And the properties were affordable. Sure as all fucking, and even as bad as some of these properties look, I'm sure each of them was valued at over $1 million. Even the property sitting in the zone with homeless people defecating in front of it, still valued $1 million. Well, there's another fire hydrant that clearly has no water going to it. Speaking of things that have no water going to it, this guy. Well, shit. There's two of Phoenix's finest sitting in the shade. I'm probably more than happy to write me a criminal citation for trespassing if I just simply try to walk across those tracks and underneath 7th Avenue. Do I risk it? Yeah, I think I will. So yeah, Chase Bank. It's really bothering me that I can't remember. I vividly remember walking across and noticing the temperature changes in the different places and where I was walking over to Chase Bank. I remember the experience at Chase Bank, which is what I keep trying to talk about, but it's really bothering me that I have a hole in my memory as to where I was walking from and why I was walking there. Well, the cops don't seem the least bit interested in me. That's a good thing. Yeah, I can't for the life of me remember. I don't recall going to Fry's. Pretty darn sure I didn't go to Costco. I remember walking across like I was walking from one of those places. I'm glad the police just let me walk through there. Of course, I'm carrying the weapon that they fear the most. An active recording camera. Hey look, an unopened face diaper. Like looking at the way the cage that stops pedestrians from jumping off that bridge looks from this angle. Oh look, a spin and a lime sharing space together. Almost like a little happy interracial relationship right there on the sidewalk. All right. Oh, God, it feels good to be in the shade right now. And part of me wants to go inside this building here just because I know there's water. And I'm certainly going to think of something that worthwhile to do while I go in there. But I don't feel like going through the security because I got a lot of crap in my pockets. I'm seriously dehydrated right now, though. It's a problem. I've lived in Phoenix long enough to know that staying hydrated is way more important than staying fed. I gotta quit trying to remember what the heck I was crossing the road for. That's why I record this stuff, so I can go back and watch it and figure it out later. Because obviously there's a hole in my memory and I'm not gonna remember that. I can't remember that right now. It's just, for some reason it's just blocked. I'm trying so hard to remember that, and I'm just drawing a blank. I just can't for the life of me remember. Oh, look, we got a Justice Court filing thing on the outside. That's neat. I used to do so much legal document running for people using those kind of things, but that one didn't exist back in those days when I was doing that stuff. I remember Allison used to like pushing the papers when she was like 3 years old. She used to like pushing the papers into the machine that stamps it with the time and the date to show when it was filed. When you use one of those, you use the machine. You got to make sure you stamp it. If you throw it in if you throw it in the box without the stamp, they might not accept it. Now, more likely than not, when they pull it out, they'll just stamp it, but it ain't going to get the right date on it. It ain't going to get the right time on it. But they could refuse it. But yeah, the proper thing to do is to stamp it with the machine there. Anyway, Allison loved doing that. She figured out how to do that when she was probably 3 years old. And if she had any idea how many of those documents that she stamped were me writing legal briefs and memorandums about the things that her mother was doing to me. The Maricopa County Sheriff's Building. So over here is mostly county offices as opposed to county government. I'm like in the county government district as opposed to I was in the state government district earlier. And notable exception being that giant fishbowl to the south, to the north, which is the Sandra Day O'Connor Federal District Courthouse. Some fun adventures in that building. God, I can't believe why I just cannot remember where I was walking to Chase Bank from. I just remember walking across the hot-ass parking lot on a walkway and noting, well, there actually is a pedestrian walkway here, but check this out. City of Phoenix maintenance ends here. Even though this is 5th Street in Madison, and this is a Madison Street, or Madison Street in Phoenix, City of Phoenix maintenance ends here because this particular block is a county road. I don't know why I notice those kind of details, but I always do. This is definitely county right here. Although I don't think this building on the right is a county office building. I don't think it's county. I guess it might be. I sworn it was a private business, but I can't for the life of me remember what it was. Anyway, as I recall, there was a sign above that door that said what the business was, and it doesn't seem to be there anymore. So I'm guessing that the county has purchased this property and has also taken possession of this road away from the city of Phoenix. And it's maintaining their own. Well, that's interesting. They're maintaining their own parking meters, which are much different from Phoenix parking meters in that they say donations only. All donated proceeds for the collection of this meter shall benefit much needed services for the homeless. Thank you for your generosity. Maricopa County. Yeah, this is a county road right here. And what a different thing to do with the old parking meters that used to be. See, and this just shows how much it was City of Phoenix, because we still have a City of Phoenix scooter parking spot here. That's fascinating. The 4th Avenue Jail had some fun adventures in that building as well. So can't for the life of me remember how it was that or where it was I was walking to Chase Bank from. I just remember walking across the parking lot and commenting about how, wow, this block completely gone, completely fenced off. I know that's a county building, but I can't remember exactly what that building is for. It seems like there's a county recorder's office in there, but that's just a small part of it. 4th Avenue Jail, as I said earlier. So nice to not see Joe Arpaio's name plastered all over this building anymore. So bizarre seeing this road closed like this. Well, it looks like the county is doing their best to just basically acquire all the roads and all the space between their buildings from the city of Phoenix. That's fascinating. At least it is to me. MCSO vehicles only. Used to be that's where all police vehicles entered. when you'd be in the back getting a ride in cuffs to get booked in some other municipalities' cop car, that's where they'd take you. When I cross the street, I'll be entering the Maricopa County Superior Court Complex. There is a catwalk that goes from the West Court building to that county building, but there's no public access to that catwalk. Believe me, I've looked for it. Now this is the Madison Street Jail, which looks like it's been renovated somehow. It's looking fresh and clean. It was looking really dilapidated, and there's a sign on it, but it's so directly above me I can't really make it out. It says 255 West Madison. And where the inlays for the windows used to be, they've got new windows in the place as opposed to the little holes. Although I still see the chain link fence up there where the rec yard used to be. So that's the old Madison Street Jail, which was replaced by the 4th Street Jail. Now, the last time I was inside this building, in cuffs, it was being used as transportation for moving inmates in and out of the courthouse. Well, those guys got county badges on. Apparently this is some kind of county building now. Wow, I can't believe that the Madison Street Jail has been refurbished with this glossy glass front. You can still see the rec yard up above. Hey, what is this building now? Okay, thank you. So she just told me it's now the Maricopa County Attorney's Office. I did not know that until right now. We all learned that together. That's wild. The Madison Street Jail has been renovated as the Maricopa County Attorney's Office. God, I wonder if the people in that building know how many people were tortured and beat by Joe Arpaio's officers in there. The kind of indignities that I suffered on the 6th floor. That's the Central Court building. Now, this used to be Madison Street but when they built the new courthouse, they pedestrianized this and basically took another street away from the city of Phoenix, made it county, and put that catwalk, and I've gone across that catwalk many times, that connects the Central Court building to the new courthouse, but wow, now they've got this other catwalk there, and that's been added to the building, very shiny. That's a county attorney's office. That's Madison Street Jail. God, now I want to walk around and see what the intake in the back looks like. This is like so wild to me. Well, Maricopa County may have the most secure county attorney office building in the United States. It's probably the most secure county attorney's office in the world.
I doubt that.
You don't think so? I mean, I'm just thinking when it was a jail and how secure this building was. It's an amazing renovation. Wow, I had no idea that was even in the works. Somehow I don't think I'll be allowed to do much exploring in that building, and definitely not with a camera. But wow, I'm at a loss for words. That's just wow. Just wow. You know, I love to see buildings repurposed, and that's absolutely amazing to me. So here's the new main. The first duty of society is justice. Superior Court, Maricopa County. Of course, this front would be a lot more impressive if you could really see it from a distance, but you can't because the East Court building blocks it, along with that little sheriff's office there. I'm just absolutely blown away by the repurposing of Madison Street Jail. I want to go up on the 6th floor. I really, really want to go up on the 6th floor. They've got to still be using the horseshoe. They've got to still be using the horseshoe for inmate transportation to hearings. They've just got to be. New traffic light underway here. Corner of 1st Avenue and Madison. There's just not much Madison Street left with as much as the county has taken over. So I definitely have a memory hole where I can't remember where it was I was walking to Chase Bank from, and I'm trying to get the story of what I was doing at Chase Bank. So I went to Chase Bank because, like I said, I was finally mentally ready to go to work, but handle some other things before I went to work. And one of the things I wanted to handle was Chase Bank. I had some roll coins I wanted to deposit, and I needed to get a little cash in my pocket because I literally was down to just hands full of change. And then I also, this entrance is permanently closed. I have very many memories of going in that entrance. Wow. Paul Pinzone Sheriff. That entrance used to be labeled as Law Library. Looks like the Sheriff's Department has taken over what was the Law Library. Wow, that's 2 libraries that I used to spend most of my time in 2003, 2004, that are no longer what they were. It's just looking like that whole thing's been taken over by the Sheriff's Department. Maricopa County Superior Court, West Court Building, Civil Department, Law Library Resource